Guess who's back home? So since my early days in college, I've been working at a kitchen hospital. And it's been a while. If anyone who knows me, they know I've been working at this place for a while. I recently quit my job. And here's a vlog about it. Deserves a vlog. Since I've been working there for a long time, it deserves an equally amount of time for a vlog. Now my experience has its share of up and downs, and I would like to share the bad parts first. Doctors, you guys are assholes. I've never thought I would say that about doctors, but that's what I feel. It's like they basically ignore you. If you're not on their level in the hospital hierarchy, they don't even pay attention to you. Now I'm a kitchen person, so they don't even pay attention to me. They just walk by me. They don't even say hi sometimes. Some of them are nice and sometimes they do, but I feel most of them don't. And they only talk to you when they need something. They just pop into the kitchen. They try to act like your friends, even though you don't even know them. They just pop in. Sometimes they don't even ask. They just go in the kitchen and take something before you tell them, hey, what are you doing here? Or they'll be like, oh, can I get some pound cake? It's for a patient. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's for you. Because usually they either send their nurses or they'll call downstairs for it. You jerk. And the higher ups in the hospital always treat it as the hospital as a business. I mean, it is a business, but at the same time, it's like, shouldn't the hospital's main priority be trying to like help the patients out, like basically heal the patients, not just think about the profits? And that's what the conversations were about usually. They're like, oh, the cafeteria's not making enough money, we're losing profit. And I was like, really? So you guys care more about the money than the patient? Even though our model was patient first, but it really never wasn't. It was more about money first, then the patient. Or some other stuff in between, but usually I feel it was about the money most of the time. And yeah, and that type of attitude was just, you could just feel it everywhere. That's how it was. And like, yeah, and the management. Now, the management, like some of the people in management are really cool, but it seems like you wonder, how did these people get into these positions? And then you're like, oh, this one's an ass kisser. And oh, this guy just charmed his way through. So that's how he got to where he is. And it's like, yeah, man, that must be how the world works. The nurses, I feel like I've changed my mind on the nurses, but just to give you my first impression, it's the same thing with the doctors. When I first started, they wouldn't even say hi to you. I would try to say hi and they'd just ignore me like I was nothing. Until they needed something, of course. Since that day, I was like, that's for all you nurses. I walked around with that attitude, with like, just don't talk to me unless you want something. And that's how it was up till recently, which I found the nurses were not that bad. But still, there are some of those nurses who are just jerks. They shouldn't even be nurses. I feel like they just picked that job because they were dicking around in high school and they just couldn't find any other occupation they could do. So they just picked, oh, I'm just going to be a nurse just to pay the rent or whatever, just to pay the bills. And then you get those crappy nurses with those bad attitudes, and they can't help a patient at all. They just make the patient feel worse. And that sucks for the patient. Yeah, and that whole hierarchy crap in a hospital, I never knew it was so prevalent, and it's there. It's like it's management, like upper management, doctors, then a little bit of management, then I think nurses fall down there somewhere. Then it's I don't know who, but all I know is at the bottom it's the kitchen people and the housekeeping people. And you get treated as such, I feel sometimes. Now, some of the patients, of course they're sick people, but sometimes they could just be assholes. Like some of them are crackheads. And that kind of falls into like the business aspect that I was talking about earlier, because sometimes like you would see the same crackhead there the whole time, because I guess they would treat them, then they kick them out, and then they bring them back in, because somehow that makes them money. I guess the more people from the streets they take in, the more money they get from the government or something. Yeah, that was a whole scandal actually. It was in the news and not sure how it went, but nobody got in trouble for it apparently. So, but yeah, some of these patients are assholes. Like crackheads, they would ask for like, of course, sugar and whatever stuff. They just want a lot of food. The crackheads and the homeless people, those were the people that were annoying. And like the prisoners too, like they asked for sweet stuff, and I'm like, that's why you got caught, asshole. You got greedy. Yeah, some patients were just rude. They'd yell at you sometimes. Now most of the patients were Asian, so I couldn't understand them. And the good thing that came from that was I learned some Chinese words, like cha means tea, lai means milk, and cafe means coffee, and that was pretty cool. But you couldn't understand the Chinese patients, and they would just yell at you sometimes, and I'm like, I don't know what you're telling me. Sometimes the patients' visitors were jerks. They were either family members or friends. Now one time, like this stupid ghetto Puerto Rican lady pulls me aside and tells me, I know it's not your fault, but this food is cold. Now she brings out the tray and she opens it and like, this is cold. And she takes my hand and puts it in the freaking plate to show me how cold it is. And I'm like, you are an asshole. And it's like, first you telling me I know it's not your fault. Then why would you put me through that, you freaking bitch? You just could have told me it was cold and I would have just fixed it for you. There was no reason to do that. That was like one of those moments I was like, yeah, this job's not so great, but it's a part of it since we usually don't get any respect from anybody, so hey, I had to deal with it. And yeah, it's the respect part that really like, that was like always pissing me off throughout my whole tenure there, because like everybody would just make jokes and those jokes freaking annoyed the shit out of me. Like every time, like somebody will walk by and say, "Oh, what's on the menu? Filet mignon, vodka, roast pork," and I'm like, I've heard that joke so many times, man. It was so annoying. It's like, yo, come up with something original, you assholes. After going through all my experiences, it's like I never want to like make fun of anybody for their job because it's just not cool. People think just because you work some menial job, it's like, oh, I can make fun of you now. It's obvious they're trying to make fun of you just to look big in front of their friend, just to be funny. And it's like, no, you look like a complete asshole right now. Now the workload. It was always a breeze, but sometimes like you had to work doubles, like from 6:30 in the morning to 7:30 at night. And like we were a short staff, man. Like sometimes you had to do like the work, other people's work, because like they called out for whatever reason, and it happened quite a few times, and they just wouldn't hire anyone, which sucked even more because now I have to rush around even more. I mean, that since I'm young I can handle it, but at the same time it does like make you tired. Yeah, you get like an attitude like, damn, I guess I was cranky half the time. Half the time I was doing that job with half a brain. The tasks were simple, but they were just repetitive, and they just make you brain dead sometimes, like a robot. You're just like, put the stuff through the machine, clean this pot. I also not only worked in the kitchen, I was a freaking mailroom guy. That wasn't bad either. I mean, I guess that could count as a good thing because then I was getting extra money. Now some of the coworkers, look, set aside, my coworkers were awesome. But some of them were just shady assholes. The flip side of that was they were funny, so you look the other way because it's like, you're not so bad because you make me laugh. Working in a kitchen has awesome advantages. You got food. And I'm not just talking about patient food. I'm talking about the cooks actually cook food. Like sometimes you get hamburgers, pasta, good pasta, Chinese food because it's a Chinese hospital. But they actually cook you some lo mein sometimes. Pizza, shish kebabs. Oh man, that was like the best day of my life. The shish kebabs they made. It's free also, man. I didn't have to pay anything. I never had to pay for lunch, breakfast, or dinner. The workload wasn't that bad either. Like it's doable. I mean, it was frustrating at times because it was just tedious and just repetitive. But it was doable. I wasn't really complaining because I could do it. I'm a young guy. The schedule, that it was really flexible. I was able to not only get a paycheck, but I was able to do other things with my life. Even like in college and after college, I was able to explore different areas. I was able to afford and basically I paid myself through college with this job. I was able to pay for my trips to Japan, Morocco. I got to see the world, man. Like, who says that? Working at a kitchen hospital. It funded me and gave me the time to see those places. It was that was pretty cool. Being per diem had its perks. I could just make my schedule up as I wanted. I fixed it for school. I fixed it for when I wanted to do something with my free time. Yeah, I was able to afford my venture into martial arts, which is still going on. Also, the money. It wasn't a lot, but it was more than minimum wage, and it wasn't bad. I saved most. I tried to save most of it, and it really gave me a cushion. Like, I was always I wasn't really worried about money at all. Another good part of it was I met awesome people, aka my coworkers. I had a lot of laughs, and that's what really counts. The more times you smile, shows that you at least enjoyed your job a little bit. Even though it wasn't the best job, but it was pretty awesome. And you guys made it awesome, and that's more than I can ask for, man. You made the experience cool. Every time I'd go into work, I knew I'd be laughing at something. Or making a joke about something. Or someone. Oh yeah, and in the kitchen, it's it was a more informal environment. You could curse, say what you want for the most part, be it racist, cursing, or just a lewd comment. Basically, you just speak your mind. Like the supervisors, they were pretty lax for the most part. At least in the beginning. Like, you could curse at them sometimes. You could just say no. And it'd just be funny. They curse at you back. That was awesome. Yeah, you could get away with certain things, man. Oh my God, the water. We had some water wars back with this other coworker. Oh, we just throw water at each other, smack each other with wet towels. That was pretty fun. Throw around the orange until we throw around the orange to each other until that thing would break on somebody. What else? Sometimes we get into wrestling matches out of nowhere. Good times. Also, the area of the hospital was a cool place. I'm not gonna say it, the place, but let's just say it was an awesome environment. A lot of college girls walking around, a lot of people. Yeah, and there's close to stores. You could just walk around and just go in there on your break. Yeah, in the beginning, the breaks were awesome, man. If you finished all your work on time, and you basically had an hour or so to kill. We played basketball. That's as close as to being a professional basketball as you can get. It's I'm getting paid to play basketball. Yes! But it was my coworkers who made it a more enjoyable environment. If all of them were assholes, including the upper management, my supervisors, I would have left earlier. But they were cool people, so hence why I stayed so long. And the food and the money. But all good things come to an end. Now, little by little, every year, there would be changes and changes. Till recently, it got taken over by another hospital because the old one was just doing bad stuff with their money, man. To the point where it had to basically sell the hospital to another hospital. And when this hospital came, it was a good thing because everybody still had a job. But then the changes came. Yeah, man. First, there were so many little rules. Then you had to start taking tests at the end of the month just so you know your crap. Basically, it just started to become a hotel service, and it's like, no, it's supposed to be a hospital. Yeah, with the new hospital, the management was up your ass. Every time you're serving a patient, they'll be right behind you, checking that you were just going through the protocol, saying hi, smiling. Yeah, that wasn't cool, so I had to leave. Also, I didn't want to be stuck there the rest of my life. Because I've heard stories where some people start off like when they're like 20, and next thing you know, it's 40 years later, and they're like 60, or they're like 60, and they're like saying, "Oh, I worked here 46 years, Papi, 46 years," and it's like, yeah, I didn't want that to be me. Yeah, you just get tired. Like you clean like a certain pot for such a long time, and it's like, is this it? It's my whole life. And yeah, and I wasn't even happy anymore, man. Like I know I walked around with the attitude before, but this time I walked around with even bigger attitude. But yeah, my last day at the kitchen, it was bittersweet. It was actually management that got me a cake. The cake said "Good luck, David," and since I enjoyed working there, I got everybody pizza so we could have like a little party, and it was cool. It was a nice send off. I'm gonna miss the people, the food, the money, that awesome flexible schedule that wasn't there at the end, but it was there. The experiences were fun also. But what I'm gonna take from working in a kitchen hospital for so long is that life shouldn't be all about work. There has to be time where you enjoy your life, even as you work. You have to enjoy what you do. There's always time for food. There's always time for people. There's always time to enjoy. Even if you're like half asleep or just doing a job where you're supposed to be doing it quickly, but there's always time. Or afterwards. Thank you, kitchen. It was an awesome ride while it lasted. Peace.